As President Trump threatens to deploy the National Guard to more cities led by Democrats and black mayors, very important, state and local leaders are issuing a new warning. Military troops who carry out Trump's authoritarian plans might be at risk for prosecution. This week, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker said that nothing will stop him from ensuring that those who hurt his people will, quote, face justice under our constitutional rule of law. Our next guest made it clear that the National Guard, quote, comes to Philadelphia and commits crimes, they will be prosecuted locally, and Donald Trump cannot pardon them. Joining us now is that District Attorney of Philadelphia, Larry Krasner. District DA, thank you so much for joining us this morning. This is one of the things I think folks have been looking to hear from Democrats in folks in positions like yours, is that on the front end, here's what we're going to do to protect our citizens. How did you guys come to this, and what are you willing to do?
I mean, it's pretty simple. You take an oath to uphold the Constitution and the laws. You don't take an oath to have a loophole for rich people, powerful people, and people who commit crimes wearing a uniform. So in the same way that Derek Chauvin is now sitting in jail for decades for the torture murder of George Floyd, we have to be even-handed. We have to believe in equality. We have to prosecute people who commit crimes. I can give you examples of specific laws in Pennsylvania, and there are equivalent laws in almost all jurisdictions that would apply here. And they have penalties that include the possibility of jail. And prosecutors in most states have a right to demand a jury trial. Nobody in Philadelphia is going to sit on a jury and tolerate law enforcement killing people, assaulting people, unlawfully detaining or arresting people in violation of the law when it's a crime. Crimes like official oppression, which is a Pennsylvania statute, unlawful restraint, obstruction of the administration of justice, destruction of evidence. This is pretty simple from the perspective of our residents in Philadelphia. Bring your video camera. If you're being messed with by National Guard, you don't know if it's illegal or not, you don't know how far it's going to go, video it. And if you're standing by, video it. This is a party that is at war with the truth. This is a president who is at war with the truth. So bring the light. Vampires don't like light, and neither does Donald Trump.
D.A. Krasner, I want to ask you about Philadelphia being a part of this cohort of what criminologists have called the great murder decline. It's Baltimore, New Orleans, Detroit, New York, where there has been marked drops in homicides. Philly has the fewest homicides in recent memory. Through July, 134 people were killed in homicides. It was a striking drop compared to 319 people killed during the same period in 2021. That's according to the Philadelphia Inquirer. Can you speak a little bit about what is working for you all in the city?
Sure. What is working is what Republicans don't do. What is working is prevention and modern enforcement, robust investment in youth, robust investment in anti-crime measures, and extensive use of forensics to solve more crimes. We not only have the lowest homicide number as of today in over 50 years, we have the lowest level of incarceration in over 35 years in Philadelphia. Yes, they go together. Whoever told you that locking people up made you safe didn't look at the numbers. The reality is that investing in people and their basic needs is what makes you safe.
D.A. Krasner, thanks so much for joining us. You said that it sounded like you were encouraging citizens in your city to take video of federal agents if they come into the city to document that. Is that how you plan on tracking it if they are deployed to Philadelphia? And are there ways that you're telling local police that they may also be enlisted in tracking what federal agents do if they come to the city?
Well, I'm not going to, lay out the details of our conversations, but we have an excellent police commissioner. We have a mayor who cares deeply about the residents of Philadelphia. Philadelphia is not a place that takes things lying down. This is pretty simple. This is not Donald Trump against a mayor or against a DA. This is Donald Trump against everybody who is broke, working class, black, brown. In other words, all the voters he hates. And here's the truth people often miss. In the last 25 years, you were at way, 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 way more risk of being murdered in a Republican state than a Democratic state. I'll say it again because people don't believe this, but it is the fact. The homicide rate in Republican Republican states for the last 25 years has been approximately 133% of the homicide rate in Democratic states. Republicans are actually terrible at public safety, terrible at it. And yet they have perpetrated this lie that if you take rights and lock people up, you're safer. We are not having that in Philly. We know better in Philly. And I would ask all of my chief prosecutorial elected officials around the country to do your job. You took an oath to uphold the Constitution and the laws of the United States, not to cower in the corner. Your laws allow you and require you to go after people who are in uniform when they commit crimes. So simply put, just do it.
Mr. DA, in the time that we have left with you, there are other leaders around the country, Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, being one of them, that have started to call ICE Trump's private police force, that that's how they're acting. Do you agree with that assertion?
I agree that when ICE acts within its lawful authority, it's doing its job, even if I find it offensive. But I also agree that when ICE or the National Guard or the Philadelphia Police or any other military or law enforcement entity commits crimes, they should be accountable, just like everybody else. And I have to say, I really applaud the mayor of Chicago, the mayor of Baltimore, many other officials, including Governor Pritzker, Governor Newsom, who have stood up and said what needs to be said. Make no mistake, we are up against a president who views himself as being America's Adolf Hitler. That's who he is. And law enforcement in the United States needs to read its history. You stand up or you get trampled.
You did not mince words there. Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner, thank you so much for joining us this Sunday morning.
Thank you.